Hi, welcome to my blog. My name is Tom Shue, and today we're going to do a tutorial where we revisit textures. In the first tutorial, I told you how to make textures and how to apply them, and with some flower textures and stuff like that. So, in this one, I'm going to teach you how to work with real textures, scratchy textures, and all kind of fun textures. So, what we have here is we have some pictures of some flowers, and they look pretty dull. There's a lot of texture in the shaft here. This is a really nice lens, that 100mm macro L from Canon, but this image is definitely underexposed looking at this histogram. So just to get started, we'll just hit the auto key. And this flower, the same thing, we'll just auto expose it. Here's the texture we're going to be working with. You see it's a piece of metal. It's got a lot of scratches on it and some rust and some kind of spilled droplets and stuff. It's got a lot of texture here. So what we're going to do is we're going to export these and work with these inside Photoshop. So if you right click and say edit in Photoshop, or you can hit Control on Windows, Command on a Mac, E, and it will export those files. So you'll export all three of those files into Photoshop. Here they are. And first thing we'll do is we'll work with the texture. We got to get it ready, and we're going to save it as a preset. The great thing about the way I'm going to show you how to do the textures today is that you're going to create a one-time preset that you can apply to any image. Okay? So there's no need to have to drag it on top of any pictures or anything like that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some image adjustments. So we're going to go to this adjustment from the image in the top tool area here, image adjustments, and then we're going to do desaturate. So we're going to make this a black and white, and you can see we lost a lot of contrast because we got rid of that color information, so we need to put some more contrast back in that. So we're going to do another adjustment. In this adjustment, we're going to do a curves adjustment. This will bring up our highlight section. It'll get brighter, and then we want to make it the darkers more contrast. So there we have it. So we'll select OK. Now what we need to do is define this as a pattern. So if you click on the edit and go down here and say define pattern, and we can call it texture test. We're going to select OK. And now what we can do is we can use this and apply it in a blending mode, and then we can save it as a style, a preset. So let's go to this image. So what we need to do is unlock our background layer. There's a few ways to do it. One, you can click on it and you can launch this dialog and click OK, and that will unlock it. Or the shortcut that I like to use is if you hold down the Alt key on Windows or the Option key on a Mac and double click, it doesn't launch that dialog box, and it unlocks that layer for you. So now that you have the layer unlocked, we can either double click here, or you can select here and click blending options. Okay, so we're going to double click here, and that brings up our blending options, and we're going to go to a pattern overlay. So we're going to check this box and select it, and in this drop down we're going to select our texture. It's right here. Okay, you notice that it's kind of checkerboard. It's being scaled. So we need to scale this up because the image is a little bit smaller than that large raw file we were using. So say if we bring it up to the bottom, just covers, we can always hover this and reposition it if we want to inside the image. Okay, so we scale it up a little bit. Okay, so there's a lot of nice scratchy texture there. Now we need to adjust our blend mode. So we want it to see the flowers come through that texture. We need to set it to overlay. So now the texture is an overlay on the image. And we might want to drop the opacity down a little bit so it doesn't cover up as much. So maybe down to like 80%. Somewhere around there. Okay, so we'll click OK. So now we have this pattern. We want to save it as a style. So in this dialog here, there's a styles dialog, and if you don't see that dialog, you go to Windows and select styles, and you'll see this. Just like in your layers palette, where you have a new layer, you have save new style. Okay, so we're going to save this as a style, and we'll call it texture Texture while I'm not typing so well this late. Texture test, and we'll select include the layer blending options. Where we made it an overlay, we wanted to save that information, and there it is. So now we can just open up any image and apply that texture to it. We need to unlock this, so we're going to Alt double click or Option double click and then apply it. So there's the texture. It's a really interesting texture. Let's zoom in and take a look, and you can see that it's applied it uniformly on the image, and it just creates an interesting image. So we can save this, and we just hit the Control S. Control is Command on a Mac. You'll see that it's saving it, and when we go back into Lightroom, it saved that image. Well, I want to thank you for visiting my blog today. My name is Tom Shue, and until next time, we'll see you soon.